specific items or situations like a fire hydrant,
Well,
like the fire station.
what about
So
the ones
you
that
have
control
things-
traffic?
We don't have red zones.
Well, we have a
Like
red
that.
zone along Spring Street from, like Harding Spring going up on one side of the street so that we only have parking on one side. You don't have parking on two sides. And that's because there isn't room for the trolley.
Okay, all of these things that are listed here, the careless parking, the no parking zone, the loading is yellow, so that's different, the post office, all of these things that have anything on here that actually has a red zone, it's for that specific reason. So no parking zone, that would be like what you're talking about.
Number 2 is all inclusive for the red zone.
Okay, so
regardless.
the red zone in front of the Zebra Boutique, you can park there anytime.
No.
Doesn't matter.
You can't park in a
Because
red
it's
zone
not
at all.
for...
No, you can't park in a red zone, but
Period.
you can't specify it because there is no such category, because each red zone has a specific reason for being there, like a fire hydrant, a fire station. I'm blanking out on all the different things, but each red zone,
How would you know as a visitor then?
it's red. You don't
It's
park there.
universal,
It
pretty
doesn't
much
matter
universal.
what the reason is. It's red. You don't park there. If you
But
do, then
how
they
do you
write
know
it.
that if you're from out of town?
It says no parking.
Red
Yeah,
zones
they're
are
usually
always
Not
marked.
no
really.
parking.
Sometimes they don't say no parking.
Red zones.
Sometimes they're just red.
Red zones
have it stenciled on
countrywide
there.
Yeah.
are no parking.
Okay.
And they are
okay.
dire no parking.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. That's. I don't know.
They
but-
usually are posted, but not always. But yeah, we do not have a separate category for red zone because each one has its own tie-in.
Well,
Yeah, red zone, no parking covers everything that is red because you can't park there.
So Mickey, was that a motion or what?
Well, it was a discussion. Now I'll make a motion to amend our amendment of the last meeting and remove parking in a red zone since it's not a category.
well, wait. I still have. This is still not clear. Okay, so if I park in front of the Zebra Boutique, how do we know what the fine is?
Doesn't matter. You don't park there.
Well,
The fine will
it
be-
depends. I might
know.
park there if I want to run in and buy something, or if I can't find a
it's
spot to
Then
park.
you risk it.
It's $20 if you park in
Yeah,
the red zone.
but how would I
I
know
don't
what the
know
fine
what the
is?
zebra thing is. So I.
Oh, it's where the spa shop used to be.
Okay.
And there's a red zone there that people park in all the time because they
Okay.
need to.
No parking zone. That means red.
Yeah, okay.
Basic cost is $20.
Okay,
If
then-
you do it here in front of the fire station,
It's
it's going to
100.
be 100.
Okay, well, it used to be 25 in front of the spa shop, so now it's been reduced to 20. Okay, okay.
Okay.
If that's the way you want it,
So we
okay.
get a motion and a second.
To amend our amendment, right?
Who made the second on that motion for Mickey?
I think I did.
I think it was David. Mr. McClung?
I'll wait
Okay.
till after this amendment thing's done.
Okay. Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay. Mr. McClung?
I just wanted to throw this out before we did the third reading, and that on the post office, I would like to see that increased to 15 or 20 minutes. There are many times people there with packages. Just with the line and stuff, they don't get it done in 10 minutes. And not that necessarily the officer that takes care of the parking tickets would be by within that length of time, but I think it's just that 10 might be cutting it too short.
Okay. Is that a motion? You gonna make that a motion?
I'll make it, sure, I'll make it a motion.
Okay. You wanna set the time,
20 minutes.
20 minutes? Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, made a second. Any further discussion on it? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, 20 minutes. Okay. Any other changes? Okay. This will be the third reading on it, yeah. I'm trying to find, there it is. Yeah. Third reading.
Okay, I move to, I'm blanking out.
James, would you help us?
To postpone the rules.
Suspend the rules? Yeah.
Suspend the rules and read by number or by name only.
We just, you have an amendment on the floor, right?
We passed it.
We passed it.
Yes, did, okay. But we have to read it as amended.
Okay. I move that we suspend the rules, read it by number only with the amendments and re-amendments.
It's one or the other.
Oh, we did both. We re-amended an amendment and then we made
But it's
another
amended,
amendment.
yeah.
Okay,
as
in the amended form.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Are you saying that you are not suspending the rules, but you want to read it as amended?
No, I said suspend the rules and read it by name only with the, after the
amendment.
amendment.
As amended.
As
amended, yeah.
amended. Yeah, I'm old as of yesterday.
Okay. And there was a second to that.
Who's the second, please?
Did I hear?
I'll second.
Okay, Terry second. Okay.
Mr. DeVito?
Yes.
Ms. Schneider?
Yes.
Ms. Zeller?
Yes.
Mr. McClung?
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell?
Yes.
5-0.
Okay.
Alrighty, ordinance number 2173, as amended 22513. An ordinance to amend Chapter 8 of the City of Eureka Springs Municipal Code in Section 2, Section C, number 4, post office, excess of 20 minutes, $20, and number 10 is out.
Good. You need to vote on it as amended. I need a motion.
You what?
We're done.
Approved.
No.
You just read
We
it.
voted on the amended. Now we
You
have
gotta
to
approve it.
approve the whole thing as changed.
Need a motion to?
Yes. Mr. DeVito.
Move to approve ordinance number 2173 as amended.
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Oh,
Yep,
yeah, we got to
roll
do
call.
this one, yeah.
Ms. Schneider?
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell?
Yes.
Mr. McClung?
Yes.
Mr. DeVito?
Yes.
Ms. Zeller?
Yes.
5-0.
All right, thank you.
Warm in here, or is it just me?
It's just you.
It's just you.
All right, that moves us to number 6 on the agenda, under unfinished business. Outdoor sales ordinance, Mr. DeVito.
Since one of the sponsors of the bill is not here, I would move that we postpone this till our next meeting.
Mr. Purkeypile was very specific in regards to don't postpone anything, just get on with it.
I don't have Mr. Purkeypile's notice of that.
Okay, we have a motion.
He told us in his office.
I'll second that motion.
Discussion? Mr. Schneider.
What is the point in postponing something just because the person who seconded isn't here? Which is what he said. We can discuss, read, do whatever we need to without Mr. Purkeypile.
Mr. DeVito.
Well, it's a matter of advocacy that the person who brought the item to our attention is not here to champion the cause, so I feel it puts it at a disadvantage.
Mr. Mitchell.
And the other person whose name is on here doesn't have a clue.
Okay. So any further discussion on it? We still have a motion and a second.
What are we motioning?
To postpone
Oh.
till Mr.
Okay.
Purkeypile gets back.
Okay.
No further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye, me, no.
No, yeah. No works. Okay, 4-1.
Please.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Pass. Postpone.
And you could explain to me what part of this is that you were objecting to?
Okay.
Okay, because I don't, I'm not clear.
That will bring us to number 7, utility lines ordinance. Motion to discuss.
So moved.
Second.
Floor is open. Beverly, you have any input on this one?
Just say that the ordinance that you received what's on and just what we asked for.
Well, thank you.
Trying to
Has
find.
anybody had a chance to read it yet?
I think it's one that we got this afternoon or just recently picked up.
Is this the one regarding the location of utilities and all new construction? Okay,
Yes,
I got it here.
Mr. DeVito, sorry.
I would move to assign this ordinance a number and place it on its first reading.
Second.
Made and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
The ordinance number will be 2174. An ordinance regarding location of utilities on all new construction. Whereas the City Council of the City of Eureka Springs, Arkansas has made a comprehensive study and review of the Planning Commission's recommendations, and whereas the council believes that it is in the best interest of the city and its citizens to avoid further unsightly conditions. Now therefore be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Eureka Springs, Arkansas that Section 1, utilities, all utilities, services for connection to all new construction for which permits are issued after the effective date of this ordinance shall be placed underground unless it is adjudged by the city building official as prohibitively expensive or impossible to do, or so adjudged as prohibitively expensive or impossible. Above-ground utilities must be located at the rear property line if possible. Section 2, appeals of the building officials' rulings regarding feasibility shall be heard by the City Council at its next regularly scheduled meeting. Section 3, severability clause. In the event that any section, subsection, paragraph, subdivision, clause, phrase, or other provision or portion of this ordinance shall be adjudged invalid or unconstitutional, the same shall not affect the validity of this ordinance, code section, or chapter as a whole, or any part or provision other than the part so decided to be invalid or unconstitutional, and the remaining portion of this ordinance code section, or chapter shall remain in effect. Section 4, repeal clause. All ordinances, resolutions, and parts thereof in conflict herewith are hereby repealed to the extent of such conflict.
Mr. McClung?
Is this discussion time? Or
No.
No, I have to, Mr.
Okay.
I move to approve ordinance number 2174 on its first reading.
Second.
It's not a roll call, is it?
Now it's
No,
discussion.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Do you think that it would not be a good idea to define utilities, a definition section, or at least just to define what utilities are? Just to be sure.
Mr. Weaver?
I looked in our code book to see if we had something that would define that, and I don't find where we ever have. And I did not try to define it for you because the changing nature of what is a utility has been changing over the last few years. We've added internet services that have to be wired in and things of that nature. And so anticipating that maybe we have some new utility coming along the way that we don't anticipate, I didn't define it. If you want to try to define it, you certainly can. But this would require anything that we consider a utility to be buried. The only definitions I could find in the code book had to do with water services, which are typically buried anyway, and wastewater services, which are also typically buried.
Mr. Weaver?
I think the effort is to get rid of overhead lines, and regardless of what it is, and I feel this addresses that.
Ms. McClung?
I'm, if everybody's happy with it, it's fine. I just don't want to. This is the time to cover it if we're going to cover it.
Is. Just one
Is it commonly assumed that all electric lines and telephone lines are utilities? Is that a word that's in our lexicon? Is that what
They're
it means?
franchise, so is in our city code.
But what about cable, television cable? And
Same.
all that
It's
is,
franchised
I mean,
as a
that's commonly assumed. When you say utilities, it's commonly assumed that those are utilities.
I'm not so sure the cable is. I think that utility is something you, electric or gas or,
I don't know, I think Terry might be onto
Telephone.
something here. Yeah.
that's why we're discussing it. Ms. Snyder?
How about utilities including cable and wireless effects? Everybody knows
We can't-
utilities are water, sewer, electric. Water, power, electric, phone. Yes.
We can add a definition.
Can you define it as public services, including those provided by the municipality or by the city or something like that?
Well, unfortunately, they're not provided by the city if they're provided by Carroll Electric.
No. That's not what I said. I said including those which is sewer and water, which is provided by the city.
Those are defined in our code.
Okay, so as utilities. So then it'd be anything else that would be, as provided by an independent service as a public service of some sort, I would say. I don't know.
I would suggest if we were going to define it that we would choose a definition from either a law dictionary such as Black's Law Dictionary of what a utility is, or find one that some other city has already adopted. If you want to add something like that, if you want to pass it on your first reading tonight, we've certainly got 2 more readings to come up with a definition.
Good
I'll
with
look
that.
for one if you want me to look for one. See if Fayetteville has one in their code, possibly, or Rogers or somewhere of that nature, or whether we can come up with a generic one out of a law dictionary.
Mr. DeVito?
I would ask the city attorney to research that for us, and we could go ahead and pass it tonight on its first reading.
Is that a motion? Okay, second? Anybody second?
Second.
Made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
Did we vote on the
Postponement?
approval of the first reading?
I think we were going to do that. I think we did do that one, didn't
No, I don't think we.
we? Okay.
I don't
all
think
right,
we
then we'll go
voted
back
on
and
that
readdress it
yet.
then. All right, all in favor of the first reading, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Did we skip anything? I want to make sure we get it all in.
Okay,
Yeah.
passed first reading.
Yeah. Okay. That will bring us back to number 8. Would be the ordinance raising the mayor's salary to $36,000 on January the 1st, 2014. Motion to discuss. Mr. DeVito.
I'd also like to table this to our next meeting. We've got 10 months, so I don't see it of any emergency status, so I'd ask to
Okay.
postpone it.
Okay, can we get a motion to discuss first, and then we'll address his?
Okay.
Okay.
Motion to discuss.
Okay. Now-
Second.
Okay. All right, now on Mr. DeVito's, there's a motion to postpone till the next meeting. Was there a set? Yes, ma'am.
Well, I had just something to add to a discussion here. I've had 3 people communicate with me who didn't like the idea for one reason or another. And I've had time to think about this. And I don't think, how many people did we have running for mayor the last time around? About 7 or 8? Okay. If we raise this salary now, this is going to be a very attractive piece of change here. And we could end up having 10, 12, 15 people running for mayor. And what happens in a small town like this with a small voting pool, and I've seen this happen before, we have, about 1,000 votes here. We could have a runoff election between 2 people, each of whom got less than 100 votes. And we would not have a consensus or it would not give us who we wanted for mayor. So I don't know. I'd kind of like to let this age a little bit. If we didn't have any trouble getting people to run for 18,000, I think what we have a real problem with is getting people to run for city council. And I think if we're going to add any remuneration or make anything more attractive, it might be possible. Now, none of us are here sitting at this table are in this for the money, clearly, because there isn't that much. But I really think that we need a quality city council, and we need people encouraged to run for city council. And I think possibly increasing the amount of money you get per meeting might encourage more people to run. It might give them a little bit of money to cover their expenses, to hire somebody part-time. Most people who are in the city council have a business, and it costs money. If you have a business, it costs money to do public service. And we really don't want a situation anymore where we have people running unopposed or we have nobody running at all. Now, the last city council, we had 2 slots that were open, and then somebody resigned, and we ended up with a city council was pretty non-functional, in my opinion. So I think maybe if we're going to postpone this and discuss it, I think we should think seriously about raising what we pay the city council people for attending meetings. And that's my opinion.
Mr. DeVito.
Well, I would ask Ms. Zeller to then submit that as an agenda item for the future. But right now, my motion is to postpone the discussion of the mayor's salary until our next meeting.
And I'll second that.
Okay.
Okay. The vote is on the postpone until the next meeting. Mr. Mitchell seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, postpone. That will bring us into new business. First on the agenda is proposed accounting program for the city. Mr. Clark. Motion to discuss.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, floor is
I'd
open.
like to request that one seat at the table, would that
No,
be easier?
he's fine.
We did it while you were gone before.
That's just because I was gone.
See? Empty chair, right there.
Wherever he wants to go.
Who seconded opening discussion?
I think I did.
Thank you.
I just want to do.
Welcome to the table, Mr. Clark.
Okay. When I came to work here in November of 2011, one of the first items of discussion was we're going to change the software that the city utilizes. My response at that time was, I don't know what we need. I'm not familiar with what we have, and so now that this time has passed, we've narrowed it down and looking at something new. Our old software is 12 plus years old. It's a DOS-based system, and recently the company that we originally got it from has been sold, and so we virtually have no support for when we have a problem. The DOS-based system is difficult to work with. It's very cumbersome, and you all obviously are familiar with the reports that you've been getting and how it is to try to read those. The original cost of the old software, so I'm told, was about $35,000. Well, 12 years ago, we've certainly got our money's worth out of that, and so. And currently, we have 2 servers. We have 2 sets of software because the utility billing is all done totally separate, totally different program, totally different server, no integration whatsoever with the main software that we use here at City Hall. So that's our situation currently. We've selected, and I've looked at several different, 3 or 4 different programs. This BSNA is the best one that I have seen. They came in January here and gave us a demo here in this room. They're out of Bath, Michigan. I heard about them from Lowell, Arkansas, and when I asked what software they used, they told me. I said, what's your assessment of their service and everything? And they said, second to none. We wouldn't even consider changing. So that's what prompted me to get in touch with them and get them to come and give us a demonstration. Currently, they have in Arkansas the city of Jacksonville, which is, as most of you know, is kind of a suburb of Little Rock, Lowell over here, and they're working, and possibly Hot Springs is going to be using them in the future. They have a lot of cities for clients across the United States. I think maybe 500 to 700. Just recently, they converted a city in Florida, and I don't recall the name, that's running exactly the same software that we have right now. So they're familiar with the conversion that we would have to do. Like I said, this, in my opinion, is the best of the best that I have looked at. And so tonight I would like for you to look at this, ask any questions, the information that you have. I'll try to answer them for you. You also have an ordinance here that I have prepared that would waive the requirements for competitive bidding because I think it would be just a really effort in futility. And we need to get going. It's early in the year. We're looking at auditors. We've had this, and the conversion process is going to be rather lengthy because we'll need to run parallel with the current system. I want to take the funds out of capital improvements. We have the money there for this. We have budgeted, our servers are 6+ years old, and so I budgeted in there for a new server, and if we do this, we'll eliminate the separate water sewer billing. It'll all be integrated, and there's so many things with this software, like the department heads can enter, for instance, the timesheets can be entered online and come directly into the payroll. Of course, the finance department is the unofficial HR department also, in that we do all the workers' comp and everything. We don't do any of the hiring and firing, of course, but we keep all the records, and this will save us a tremendous amount of time. Currently, we use a purchase order system that sort of is working and sort of is not. It's not really working like a purchase order system is supposed to work. But in this software, the purchase orders by each department will be entered online and go into their and the funds that they're requesting on that purchase order will show those funds as encumbered and not available for use at the time. And there's so many. This is really a state-of-the-art program. And unless technology changes to the extent that this program will become obsolete, which is always that probability, I should say, for the foreseeable future, with the support that I believe we'll get and the updates that we can get and everything, we can run this software for another 12, 15 years or possibly longer. So, at any rate, that's what I'm here to ask you to do. I'm open for any questions, Mayor.
Mr. McClung?
Couple of things, Lonnie. What's the monthly or annual maintenance with these people that, I mean, is there some?
There is an annual maintenance fee, and right now we're paying about $8,000 a year to our old software company. In this, we'd be paying about $9,500, and they can't go up more in any year than the consumer price index increase.
Secondly, do we have to pay tax?
We have to pay tax on everything that we purchase. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We have to pay sales tax.
Mr. Mitchell?
Over my 30-some-year career in healthcare, and putting in quite a few IT systems in hospitals, from clinical to financial, admitting discharged physicians and everything, this system back here looks very integrated.
It is.
And it looks very comprehensive.
It is.
And it would be nice to see at some point from you what a report would look like that would come to council. And usually that would be what kind of report does it generate that will come to council that we'll be able to see in the future at a higher level than, it's not. Unless you create that report, you can go in and write it yourself and create it, or do they have a standard report that is like available to city councils? It'd be nice to see one of those. Mr. McClung's maintenance is important, and they obviously then have user groups, so they're constantly updating the software, listening to users out in the field, making corrections and changes throughout the year, and then they give you those upgrades free.
Yes.
That's part of your
As
maintenance.
I understand that currently. Let me go over what this includes. It includes the general ledger, the accounts payable, cash receipting, payroll, human resources, employee self-service, which is where an employee can log in to the system and get their vacation time, their sick time that they have accrued. They can look at their last W-2 that they got. They can look at their earnings record. They obviously can't look at anybody else's record, but at any rate, that's included. Timesheets, fixed assets, the purchase order system, miscellaneous receivables, the building department, which where it's kind of a stepchild in a way right now, business licenses, and the utility billing. That's what's included. And there are other modules. These are all separate modules, and we can add other modules if necessary, if we want to. So,
These were the modules that were in the cost that you got.
That's right.
That includes those modules. Thank you. Just one.
yes.
Ms. Schneider?
So I'm assuming from our discussions about this before, that means like our monthly budget report would end up being half the size it is at least?
Probably half the size and a whole lot more
More info, less space.
user-friendly, and where you can understand and answer to your question, Mr. Mitchell, earlier. It'll be more in a format of you're accustomed to seeing in a real profit and loss and everything.
Will it show data to us that is trended so that we can look at analysis from time periods and go back so we can trend over time?
Yes.
Thank you.
Mr. McClung?
We, back when I was on council in 2005, 2006, we approved the purchase of a new accounting program at that time. So I'm trying to remember, is the process correct? Do we have to pass an ordinance for a purchase because of the dollar figure, or so it does have to be by ordinance?
Yeah. Or you can waive. Lonnie can tell you the process.
No, I'm not, yeah, I mean, that's waiving, do we have to waive that by ordinance? Is that where it's read 3 times? Because that does not expedite his purchase.
Well, I'm actually asking you if you would suspend the rules and pass this tonight on the 3 readings so that tomorrow we can move forward, if you can do that. And the competitive bidding is the only thing that we have to have the ordinance on, I believe.
He's correct. You have to waive the competitive bidding by ordinance. You also have an emergency clause attached to this, which needs some slight tinkering in order to be effective if you want to be able to purchase tomorrow.
Well, we don't have to purchase it tomorrow, but I'd like to be able to.
Yeah, if you
get
want to
the
avoid
ball
the
rolling.
publication requirement in 30 days, your emergency clause needs some tinkering.
Mr. Snyder?
Since this has been discussed quite a bit about needing new software, and I mean not only over years, but even just recently in these last few months, trying to deal with the various departments and their information and watching them try to put all this together for us, it's definite that we need this. The season is coming up really fast. Sooner we can get this. Do you have any idea about how long it's supposed to take to switch over? You said lengthy.
Well,
Days, weeks, months.
yeah. Now let me so I don't mislead you on anything here. The $43,000 are the amount that's in the ordinance. That's the cost of the software plus the tax. Then we've got the training.
That was my next question.
We have the training, the conversion, and we don't have any support fees for the first year. So that's all included. And this is total here. And, the training is $29,000, what they have for training.
Now, did you say that was included?
No, it is.
Oh, it's
That's
separate.
not included.
It's separate.
Then there's a software setup and on-site implementation. The implementation and project management. Of course, the conversion. We can import whatever we want to, like the custom import here is $1,000 from third-party software to populate the building department database with parcels, properties, and current owners. So we can do that. Okay.
But they don't do their own, okay, we have to pay for them to help us do the conversion. That isn't part of the...
No.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Bottom line,
Okay, bottom line, everything, and before you fall out of your chair, let me tell you that I've negotiated a non-interest payment over a 3-year period for this. So we can pay a third of it, and a third, and a third in 3 years. But the total cost of everything is $107,015.
okay.
Mr. Mitchell?
Divided
So-
by 3.
So why wasn't the training included in this ordinance to waive competitive bidding? And why wasn't that the total that we're looking at there? Why do we have a total here of $48,000 when really the true figures for total implementation, training, and conversion and everything that goes with it, total is $107,000? What shouldn't we have had? I need to ask that question because I don't mind the $107,000. Don't get me wrong. I totally understand computers and how much they cost, and that's a drop in the bucket after millions. But why are we not waiving competitive bidding for the whole price?
Well, I guess we have some options between, and that's all priced out separately. And this is just for this amount is just for the software modules themselves.
I understand that, but I'm still having a hard time. What if we have to have the training, we have to have the conversion, we have to have it all, and you've got it into 3 payments. So why don't we just do it right in one time and just get it done?
Mr. Weaver says we need an emergency clause, so we'll do the whole thing.
Well, emergency for the whole thing.
Mr. Snyder?
I believe we can only have the price showing for the physical object. Like on this one sheet. When it comes to the training and the bookwork involved in the conversion, that's not something physical like this thing sitting here is. There's a difference. I mean, we should have that somewhere, but it shouldn't be on the same sheet for the, what you call it, for the waiving.
Mr. Weaver, you can jump in on that one.
It's going to have to be waived too.
But
If you pass this tonight, he goes buys the software, and you don't approve the training and you don't waive it, you're going to have $48,000 worth of software sitting down there, as Mr. Mitchell said, that nobody can use unless Lonnie can train himself on it, or someone else in the department.
Separate? But don't they need to be separate?
No, they really
items?
need to go in together.
Okay.
They need to be acted on at the same time. They could be two different documents, but you need to approve that at the same time, or you could potentially have the software sitting down there and nobody knows how to run it.
If we take a break, can you do that second part of the money?
No, not
Can you
tonight.
just add a paragraph?
Not tonight.
Mr. McClung.
Couldn't we do a first reading on it as presented to get the ball rolling, and then do a second and third the next meeting with it all dressed up in its correct
Do that. That would give people out in TV land some
chance to
some
feel
knowledge of what
screen
you're
and-
doing.
Yeah.
Mr. DeVito.
I don't want to pass anything that's not complete, and it's obvious from this discussion that this is not complete. The amortization of the $107,000, how it's going to be broke down, this all needs to be here. This needs to go before the city attorney. It doesn't behoove us any to pass anything on one reading tonight. We can pass it 3 readings at the next meeting if we so determine. But right now, this is incomplete, so I make a motion that we table this until our next meeting.
Only if you have him do the work in the meantime.
I'll second that with one caveat. Is that you know that it's tabled to the next meeting with prepared ordinance.
I'll amend my motion to include that.
Second.
Can you second it? Any further discussion? Mr. Mitchell.
So the motion in the amendment, it's that we're going to get an ordinance from the city attorney that goes up to the full amount, which includes training and
Inclusive.
the whole thing. All the nuts, bolts, whistles. Thank you.
Exactly, and this ordinance basically reflects the ordinance that was passed when the previous software was purchased. Okay.
So we're going to get a new one. I got it.
Is that going to include the 3 yearly payments?
Yeah, it needs to.
3 installments?
Does it need to have the installments showing on there?
We need to look at the installments, whether that's legal to do, but yeah. We'll do
So
the,
you'll be prepared.
Okay.
yeah.
Thank
We'll,
you.
we'll prepare you an ordinance that you can pass
All
if you
inclusive.
want to purchase it.
Okay. Any further discussion on it? If not, we'll vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Thank God.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Lonnie.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
I can't wait to get a copy. And the budget thing had better, when it gets down to the bottom of the page, either say continued or be ended there.
Okay. So bring us to number 2, resolution for safe routes to school. To
Take a
discuss.
motion to take a 5-minute break, please.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Yeah, no.
Aye, by the way.
Okay, somebody didn't vote.
I finally said aye.
I'll vote
I
aye.
forgot to.
I
Okay.
You're never going to get me to vote yes.
You got it.
Okay.
5 minutes.
Is that what it's for? I thought it was.
provided it isn't sleeting.
Don't think it's doing anything out there right now other than ringing.
Well, over there, we're moving right along here.
Get back.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
On the paper here, that looks pretty comprehensive. So the HR section, is there opportunity there to really clean up the HR duties of the city? With the software? I mean,
No, I don't think so.
Accruals and keep track of workers' comp, and get all kinds of good reports out of it.
This is on loan.
Keep track time and attendance.
See, look at it and then I need.
Exactly.
Yeah, I had
see,
talked to Denny about that. She
Some
brought that
of
to
the
me.
things that I did
She was
cover
all
here is
enthusiastic.
like
I think it's a
each
great idea what
department
she has. It's
can have
you know, it's
access
kind of neat to have
to
these little
their
places
section.
that people do be outside. Yes.
Right. And they can come in and look at their travel expense, for instance, or their vehicle maintenance or whatever. Like Chief Williams could come in with the fire and
Okay,
EMS,
this the
and if he
outdoor
wants to look at
sales.
his
Which
vehicle
part of that
maintenance, you know, he can look in there at that and his whole section.
Inventory management, that's also, that'll include all the inventory that belongs to the hardware and all that belongs to the city, and
Right.
what's depreciated, where's the depreciation.
Fixed assets, yeah.
Fixed assets. And how are you gonna handle
How's your eyes doing?
user levels with passwords and everything?
So?
Good some days, bad other days.
You facing any more surgeries?
Various departments to use
Got a
this system.
review in 2 weeks, and they're going to decide what the next
PCs
thing to do is.
places that they're not gonna be able to access.
Actually, no, I don't think that's going to be the case. I think
When it comes to the eyeballs, they're hard to work
they
on
may
because
be
you can't really
further updated than we here at City Hall.
be intrusive without,
If I put our system in,
I mean, you can poke a needle in them, I guess, and
you can access it.
lose all your good goo out of it if you poke a hole in it. It can't be sutured up or, and
We'll probably
until I
be
started
able
taking
to
mom
do
to the
that.
doctor, I thought an ophthalmologist was,
No.
did the whole eye.
Right. Well,
Apparently
so
that's not true. Huh?
You still live?
Oh, are we? Nathan. Nathan.
Oh, he's asleep.
Oh, he's asleep.
Oh, this is
Nope.
They're on break, Nathan.
Be a permit to
Okay, we're back in session.
setbacks.
We were about to
Okay,
discuss
great.
resolution Safe Routes to School. Motion to discuss.
So moved.
second.
Okay, floor is open. You have before you a Resolution for a grant. If you have any questions, Diane can kind of give you the lowdown on it since she's been working with this. Ms. Wilkerson, would you please address the council?
We're submitting an application. We've done this once before and got turned down. But it's no match, 100%. It's a federal grant that's administered through the state. We're requesting sidewalks from Highway 62 and 23 south to Greenwood Hollow and some down Greenwood Hollow towards the school. And I have 46 letters of support. I have a support letter from Representative Ballinger and Senator King for us to receive the monies. McClung Engineering administered the grant, is working on the grant, put the grant together, and they'll be submitting it for us on our behalf. And the only thing we need from the council at this time is just the resolution approved, and it's due February 28th, and we'll get it to them on time. We have everything good to go except for this part.
Mr. McClung.
Is that from 23 at the top of Plainer Hill, or just
Yes.
from 23
From 23 south, where
at the Landonade?
yes,
Okay.
going to
Greenwood
Greenwood Hollow, and it's approximately $180,000 because they've already done the survey, the engineering part of it and stuff, and that's included in the grant. We pay nothing. It's a reimbursable grant, which we have to put the money up front, but they pay us back immediately.
100%.
Yes, even the engineering.
It's a redo of what we tried before, and we got
Right.
done.
Yeah, it comes around every 2 years, I think.
She's been working really hard on this one too. So, yes, sir.
I would move to assign this resolution a number and to read it for approval.
You have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, we'll stand by for a number.
The resolution 615, Arkansas Safe Routes to School Program, application for infrastructure project funding, expressing the willingness of Eureka Springs to utilize federal aid monies. Whereas the city of Eureka Springs applied for funding through the Arkansas Safe Routes to School program to develop or improve the Eureka Springs School District, and whereas the city of Eureka Springs understands that federal aid funds are available for this project on a reimbursable basis, requiring work to be accomplished and proof of payment prior to actual monetary reimbursement. And whereas the city of Eureka Springs understands that there will be no reimbursement for any work accomplished prior to the issuance of the Arkansas State Highway and Transportation Department of an official notice to proceed. And whereas this project using federal funding will be open and available for use by the general public and maintained by the city of Eureka Springs. Now therefore be it resolved by the city of Eureka Springs that Section 1. City of Eureka Springs will participate in accordance with its designated responsibility, including maintenance of this project. Section 2. The mayor of Eureka Springs is hereby authorized and directed to execute all appropriate agreements and contracts necessary to expedite the construction of the above stated project. Section 3. The City Council of Eureka Springs pledges its full support and hereby authorizes the mayor of Eureka Springs to cooperate with the Arkansas Highway, State Highway, and Transportation Department to initiate action to implement this project.
Any further? That'll take care of it then. Thank you very much. That moves us on to number 3, the ordinance for electronic fund transfers for the cemetery.
Move to discuss.
Second?
Second.
Floor is open. Go ahead. Mr. McClung.
I'm not, I think I understand this. They have their own bank account, cemetery does,
Yes.
and it's administered by their commission.
Yes.
And the only thing that comes out of the city accounts is the employee,
Yes.
and he's paid as a city employee.
Yes.
So the state requires them to there has to be something approved by us, even though it's, just because it's a commission of Eureka Springs, that all electronic transfers have to be done by having an ordinance to approve them.
Apparently so.
So it's just a,
For auditing
it's just a
purposes.
maintenance thing that needs to be taken care of.
That's my understanding. That's the way it was just sent to me. Yes, ma'am. Yes?
So the Department of Finance here has no oversight of who audits the cemetery's finances and who has oversight over reviewing the money and et cetera. Who's watching it?
They're privately audited. They hire their own auditors.
Really?
And then the city, the ones that do our cemetery, our audit also does theirs, but they also do a private audit, is the way I understand it. Is that the way you understand, Lonnie?
It's a
Yes, sir, go ahead.
it's a division of legislative audit and then they hire a private CPA, I think, to do their audit. But we as the city finance department don't have any oversight on their bank account and their spending. Now, about this electronic funds transfer, the state of Arkansas, they're really, really particular about this, and because I've inquired about it to some degree to see if we could, it would make sense, for instance, when we're paying our own water bill, to just do an electronic funds transfer, but no, we write a check for it and deposit it in whatever.
So she was right. They have to write a check even though it's electronic. So where's the check go?
Well, ours, I don't know about theirs, but ours, we didn't do it electronically
Because of that.
we just, if we're going to write the check, we might as well just deposit it.
Why don't they just write a check instead of electronic?
You'd have to ask him, I don't know.
Thanks, I got it.
Ms. Schneider?
I think the electronic payment is just that it's an automatic payment every month to the two utility funds. And basically what the state is saying is you've got to go ahead and write the check for the amount it's going to be so that this shows. The check doesn't really go anywhere. And that's all that this ordinance is about, is that we have to do this. It doesn't have anything to do with who's in charge or anything else.
Any further?
You didn't get that?
I got it.
Oh,
Mr. McClung?
I think the way ours works is that whenever we do an electronic transfer like that, it's still put in as it's given a check number, but it's not, no actual check is written. So, yeah, maybe they don't want to pay the price of the 2 stamps a month. I don't know.
Ms. Eller?
Well, if this is the way they want to do it, it doesn't make any sense to me. You're doing online banking and writing a check too. It makes no sense, but if that's the way they want to do it, I'm all for it. It's just
Further?
another government thing.
Okay. Need a motion to sign a number?
so moved.
I'd move to sign this ordinance a number and place it on its first reading.
Second.
Okay. Can do that.
The ordinance number will be 2175. Ordinance allowing the Cemetery Commission of the City of Eureka Springs, Arkansas to pay gas, electricity, and phone by bank draft. Whereas the Cemetery Commission of the City of Eureka Springs, Arkansas has been advised by the Arkansas Legislative Joint Auditing Committee, Division of Legislative Audit, that Arkansas Code requires municipalities opting for an electronic funds transfer system to establish an electronic payment method that provides internal accounting controls, documentation for audit and accounting purposes. Whereas the Cemetery Commission of the City of Eureka Springs, Arkansas, has been approved to use automatic bank drafts for recurring payments to utility companies by the Legislative Joint Auditing Committee based on the review of the November 29, 2012 of, not the, but of November 29, 2012, and response December 13, 2012. Whereas the Cemetery Commission of the City of Eureka Springs, Arkansas opts for an electronic funds transfer system to establish an electronic payment method that provides internal accounting controls and documentation for audit and accounting purposes, such as 1, the original draft authorization is on file, signed by 2 authorized signatures for each utility, Eureka Springs Water and Sewer,